Welcome. So a little wrap up from there. Rails have been brilliant on that one. Contacted them this morning, and they're having it back to test, see what they can do with it. So just to reiterate, guys, I wasn't clear enough yesterday. Not sure if it didn't come across right, but basically, when you move the control that's meant to slow your engine down, you don't expect it suddenly increasing speed. So it's not only is it not stopping or slowing down, it's actually going quicker than it was before and darting off. And it hadn't been for hitting the point apart from that point I didn't like in the second test video yesterday evening, as I posted. It would have gone right off the end of the track there. I'd have had to grab the coaches to stop it. So yeah, fun. But yeah, they're going to have it back and test it, and when it's worked for them, really helpful, super helpful. It's well worth, if you're not fond of phone calls, give them a ring though. Honestly, the contact us thing is good, but they are so nice over the phone. It's so helpful. Can't fault them there. But anyway, I mentioned in that video that I should have been making a decision, and I did. And then I started to get frustrated with something, and so I changed my mind, which has been basically been the way of things for many years. And I just want to talk about that a little briefly here. Try and keep things as brief as possible and actually get you some train running action to finish off here. So there's the carrot. But basically, yeah, it's over the years it's been various layout attempts by me. Now, some people, when you first came across me, I was doing Japanese. All here still, of course. Some folks, when you came across me, I was doing Great Western. Others, it might have been narrow gauge, a brief stint of LNER, or if you, from my original Lancaster 622 channel, or Lancaster 630 it might even be, but that was LNER as well, with trains. And then there was a Great Western interlude, and yeah, there's all sorts. And Southern's been on the thing, Southern Region's been on the thing. It's LMS, London Midland region. Basically, if we're running this country, I've pretty much done it, apart from, haven't really done anything Scottish based. I suppose that's the untapped one there somewhere. But yes, it's been a bit of a struggle, and I've covered in other videos, the sort of, in the early days, I was just happy to have trains. I didn't really mind. I didn't really care where they came from. I just loved my trains. Model trains wise, it was like, oh, I'd like one of those, I'd like one of those, I'd like one of those, like one. So, kid in a sweet shop, literal kid. And I got to know a friend, a couple of friends, and they were doing very specific things. I thought, oh, I want in on that. Especially some of these people who are slightly older than me. It's like, oh, looking up to them in that regard, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to be part of that. I want to be able to say, oh, I model this or I do that, which you don't have to do, by the way, folks. You don't have to do, and it's not, some people call it their train service. It's a valid model railway still, but yes, it is something that's still, despite the fact it's open to me, heritage railways are a really good one, and I'm still going to be running a heritage road. The Manor Line is still going to be a thing for when I want to run things that are outside of my main scope, and that's what that's there for. So if I go, let's pick a railway I've never been to. There are a few out there. That's going to be a bit difficult though, as an example. Bluebell Railway. Let's say I went to the Bluebell Railway. So I go off a trot. And of course, for those who don't know, the Bluebell Railway, apart from a hall, because the Dew Dog's left as well for a bit now. So apart from the hall that's a semi-resident these days, it's all Southern. And I come back going, that was good. I really enjoyed that. Oh, could really fancy doing a bit of Southern. That's where the Heritage Railway should step in and be like, right, well, have you got anything Southern? Well, I have now. I've got 2 C classes. There's one there and one there. One in, as you just seen. I don't know. That video never went up. But yes, you know, I've got one in South East Chatham Railway First World War grey, wartime grey, and one in fully lined Wainwright livery, which is an absolute steal at 62 quid. Go look them up on eBay. You want SENCR livery is what you want to search for. You look for the green ones, see how much they go for. 62 quid's nothing. Still can't believe that. Really super happy with it. It's not about what it's worth, what it costs, what it's worth really, but because I don't ever intend to sell it now. That's mine. I'll be buried with that one like a Viking. For an Egyptian, I need to be a pharaoh at this rate. I have a big pyramid full of all my train treasures, big layout going around it. Anyway, I'm digressing. Sorry. So yes, that's where that should step in, and then I'll be able to. Okay, I've got some southern bits, or if there's a particular engine, say Terriers, a good example there. Bluebell, known for its Terriers, Stepney and Fenchurch mostly. If that's not all the Terriers they have, but anyway, you know, okay, yes, and you know, you go and buy one, you can have a thread of the purchase, maybe you can get one there, and that's where that steps in. So that's where the balance should be found there. So my two choices were the Great Western and BR Eastern Region. And even as I'm saying this now, I can feel my head going, oh, but no. I've decided to go with Eastern Region, British Railways. Why Eastern Region? Why not LNER? Because I do usually prefer the interwar period, the 20s and 30s, when the big four companies were obviously at their height. And 50s, 60s, it's the end, it's when everything's becoming dilapidated and the writing's on the wall for it. Well, really, it's because there are certain engines that you can't get in the LNER period. And it's something I've never attempted. I've attempted to do LNER before, and in fact, even recently, you know, the 04 that I put into LNER livery, which is soon to become BR next, is, you know, I got Thompson coaches, I got myself a brake van, you know, we were becoming fully set up for LNER, and you know, it's not a bad choice. Now the only thing is, you do lose engines. You lose the Peppercorn Pacifics. Okay, I think there were a couple. I've mentioned that slides with you, didn't I? I think there were a couple that of the A2s that were around during the LNER in its last days. I think of AH Peppercorn, Sugar Palm, and possibly Sun Chariot. I don't think there were many more than that. But the A1s, they're all BR. The Peppercorn, Thompson Peppercorn, K1 Mogul is BR. All Thompson Pacifics are fine, as far as I'm aware. I'm not sure the rebuilds are, but yeah, I think the A23 is definitely there at LNER, they're fine. But I say, apart from that, these classes are BR engines. And it's you lose those, and like Blue Peter the other day looked amazing in BR Blue, but you can't have that. I don't believe Blue Peter helped run with LNER number, but I don't believe it's actually authentically an LNER livery. Yes. Anyway, so that's one. Also, then you get the standards, you get the diesels, you get that sort of thing. And I did sort of say yesterday, didn't I, in Train Sim, I put the diesel on there to use. Now, I've found that Class 17s for Eastern Region. I know there must be one very specific part, but I'm not going to be that sort of pernickety about it. The great thing is, I can delete this video and go, oh yes, I was doing Grey Western all along, you know. It has crossed my mind once or twice, why not just do it? Do I really need the standards? Do I really want the standards? Do I want the diesels? Do I want the the peppercorn locos mentioned. And it's a case of, well, yes. Because something I had in mind for the Beyond and the Midland one, region one, was the fact that dirty steam engines are appealing. A weathered steam loco model looks fantastic. They look brilliant clean, but at the minute I'm feeling a draw towards dirty ones. So yeah, that's what I'm heading for. It's taking a while to sort of settle it, as you can probably tell from this. It's taken a while to settle it in my head properly, because it's been so long since I genuinely made a decision for a model railway entirely on my own, without influence from what friends and family and that are saying. Yeah, so I've had to draw whole mind maps on this, written up things, made lists, compared, gone back and forth, really deliberated over this. I've tried different trains out on the layout. It's partly why I found out Henry was still playing up, because when I was trying out LNER, oh, could I just deal without those? And of course you get black lined in red, and that's what livery Henry's in. It's like, it's not LNER livery on that, but it's similar, and I see how that looked, and which is why I was pulling Thompson coaches. But yes, it's nice because you do get the full breadth of the whole thing. Now, why not Great Western? Well, the Great Western will always be a favourite. It will always be a favourite, a very strong one. And this is possibly where I could persuade myself to do Great Western briefly, if not fully. But that's fine. Whatever it is I find at the end of this video, here he is moving the goalposts already. What I would say at the end of this video, that's what I'm doing now. I'm really do want to lock myself in. But the thing about the Great Western is there's a lot of similarities to the things I do now. You have standard engines with a very big family feel to them. Yeah? Japanese locos. Very, very standard engines, because only a few made for the whole country. A bit like German engines in a way. But I'd say almost more so with the Japanese ones. There's a very big family feel to the whole lot. They're very, very similar in appearance. Not quite to the extent of the GWR, but you know, it's enough. Whereas obviously with the LNER, you've got all the constituent companies. You've got the Great Eastern, the Great Central, the Great Northern. Any of the greats before I move on to the Northeastern. But you get the point. So you got all those different companies, and then the group standards, and then the BR not standards. It's a weird thing if you think about it and actually look at the different components used. Technically, the only true standard is Duke of Gloucester, because it's one engine. But it's definitely standard to its own class. Each one is. Yeah, it's kind of weird that way. But yeah, you know, so you've got the Riddles locos, you've got Gresley, Thompson, Peppercorn, Raven, Wurzel, yes. I'm gonna get really hung up if I don't move on. So move on. Robinson, so on and so forth. You've got all those Ivett, you know, Ivett and Ivett, because his son's locos built at Darlington as well. Riddles, Stanier, and that's one to remember, is Stanier, and Fairburn. For those who know me and have known me for a long time, I do love a Fairburn tank. It goes back to a video I had, VHS I had, Pennine Steam in the 60s, which featured Fairburn tanks quite heavily in the intro, in the first section, and yeah, based on Houseway, got the only pair left, and yeah, I went to see them, and it was just fantastic to see them in real life. I have one model in LMS livery, but if I get one in BR livery, it can legit run on this layout. They were some allocated to the Eastern. Now for this, it needs to be understood I'm doing the entire of what I would call the Eastern region. So I'm basically going to pick what we'd the old LNER, so right up into Scotland and the northeast, and however I am set in the Midlands. But for far as locos and stock go, I'm looking at that whole area, because in BR days, obviously the Scottish region was a thing. You had the northeastern, which had their orange, not keen on that orange thing, and then the eastern, which was the dark blue, which is lovely. Lovely shit as a colour. I'm not a big fan of orange. So yeah, you know, there's that's a lot to go at. Another reason why not Great Western One, lack of valve gear, external valve gear. I like, when I'm operating my trains, I like to watch things moving on the coupling rods and everything. And with the Great Western, apart from the 15XX and 101, possibly one or two others, but from what's available ready to run, 15XX, there is not a lot, if any, others that are actually available with outside valve gear. Or maybe you could argue a steam rail motor. So yeah, so there's that. Outside framers I do lose though, because also the Great Western I've got the Earl class. But conversely, we pick up Atlantics. Saddle tank shunters, more than one class. I mean, obviously the 1361 on the Great Western. On the LNER, you got the J94, another engine, the first steam engine type I ever got to drive. A very special engine. Actually, as the engine's playing up, is an EFI rail one. Stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop dead. Which is a shame, because otherwise it's running pretty nice. But it's random. Again, it's totally random on where it's going to do it. Which is a shame. I mean, I'm having to employ my Great Eastern tank here, my N7, which is the one you're going to see running in a bit. This has been 20 minutes, I do apologise, but there's a lot to go through. There's my Great Eastern N7 in First World War grey livery. I've got to get this back on the track and coupled up at the same time. There we are. Oh, did it in one. He says just making sure the coach is actually hooks caught on the wire. It's a train, not an aircraft carrier. And they're 14, you know. But hey ho. It's a bit of a shame, because I could be using all three. I could be using the 04 and this, you know, but there's plenty to go out there. There's a lot of tank engines, a lot of external valve gear. And that's the other thing is, I like Great Western livery. BR green is Great Western livery, so, you know, again, you've got that, but you get BR blue. You get the mixed traffic line black. You get plain black, obviously. And with weathering, these things can all look great. And I've noticed there are certain locos, which I'm paranoid about mentioning directly, but there are certain locos which are very suitable for my Midlands Eastern region route on the old Great Central for sale, that are already weathered and looking absolutely stunning. So could be very tempted by one of those next month if the car goes well. If everything goes well with the car, could be tempted to get one of those just to make sure I've got one. But yes, and that brings me on to the final point. I've got a collection of Great Western engines, and this is a thing, and I want to run them. Heritage Railway time. Which suits, because most Heritage Railways have had a Great Western engine run on them at some point, because they are so ubiquitous. Wow, just about managed my way through that word. But so yeah, so they're all ready to go for that, you know, so it's nothing awful there. But apart from the 04, which is the only one that will be seeing a repaint, well, not a repaint, just I'll remove the LNER and the number off it and put a BR number on it. I've actually found I can have it as the same engine, just in its BR days, because it kept, from what I found on BR database, it appeared to keep this boiler until it was rebuilt to 048, when it got a B1 style boiler. So, I mean, I do have a B1. I could make it into an 048. I don't know if they gained any external valve gear or anything, because my B1 is a split chassis job. It runs, but split chassis job. wonder what the conversion would be like. Anyway, any which way round, it can run with its number. With its BR number. And I've actually already got it programmed on the chip as its BR library. The Great Eastern tank is staying as is, because as far as I can see, these all appeared in mixed traffic lined. I'm not doing that. Plain black on the 048 is a possibility, but line, no go. So I'd like a new austerity, a new Gen 94. I actually call it a Gen 94, which is novel. But I've got that chance for a clean slate start, and I'm going to seize that. It's the same thing I've had in my Warhammer army. I had my 40k army. I completely started something new I've never tried before. I've got no sort of past, oh, I did this, I did that, which is another reason not to do LNER or Great Western there. You know, it's just a case of straight in. And finally, there's too much weight with the Great Western. I've got links to both grandparents with it. I've got, yeah, so the family collection, we had someone in the family that drove for the Great Western. Back in the days when they had Indian red frames, it's Victorian, late Victorian era. And there's a lot of weight there, and it's like, oh yeah, but I'd like to do that. I put too much pressure on myself. With the LNER, the only callback I've got is I had a very good friend who I'd like to still think of as a friend, as I haven't seen him for years now. Or a couple of years actually, because I saw him at the Road Centre with the Thunder 4 was there, the tank engine was there. But you get the point. And actually, if you've watched my LNER, my Steam experience so far, if you hear the voice at the beginning go, "It is, yeah," that was him. And he was a big LNER nut. Still is, as far as I know. And that's about the only link I've got. And obviously, yeah, growing up, I've had Mallard, sat in Mallard for my fifth birthday. I sat in Mallard. I rang the NRM today saying, look, it's 30 years on this year. Any chance? Or they don't let people go in the cabs anymore. You know, because of wear and tear, conservation. Alright. I said, okay, thank you very much for your help. After I ended the call, I thought, wait till someone tells them that they run to Nigel Grizzly. They're big chunks of metal. Now, I totally understand it for not sitting on the seats. I just find that a bit strange because I got to visit the cab, not last year, maybe a year or two before, in 2021 maybe. I got to visit the cab of Duchess of Hamilton, which they'd had open, had people visiting it. I believe you can still go on the footplate of the Chinese logo, or you could last time I went. Just seems a little bit strange, I have to admit. And I did offer a donation as well. It was a no. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame because it would be really cool. Seeing as, you know, okay, it's not my 30th birthday, but as a 30th birthday is a significant one. It'd be, you know, 30th anniversary should in theory is equally significant. It would be nice, but oh well, you know, got to respect what their decisions are. I mean, the poor guy on the other end of the phone is like, it's up to him or anything. So you know, it's one of them. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame. So it sort of links all through, and the LNER has been an off and on thing for all that time as well. But yes, tended to shy away from BR Eastern region. That's the final thing. Is I had a friend for a very long time. He was there for that Mallard sitting experience. So given that I was 4 turning 5, that's a long friendship. Had to cut him loose because he was going down a path I just couldn't follow him on. Politically, personal ideology and motivation and everything, I just could not follow him down there. It was tried to help and suggest different things, but it just was a no-go zone. So yeah, you can lead a horse to water, you can't force it to drink, you know, sort of thing. And it's just a case of, for my own good and actual safety, I've got to cut ties. That was hard, but every time I went to do the 20s and 30s, it was like, oh no, just do BR, BR's easier, BR's easier. Every time I got disheartened, oh, BR's easier, BR's easier. And I realised, part of my mind map, I realised I was pushing against that. Oh, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing BR because I'm not doing that. And part of trying to do, because he did London Midland region, part of trying to do London Midland region in a way when the LWR stuff now was, I realise now, me trying to claim it as my own. And I think this is where the Japanese layout has suffered, is because he was also big into his Japanese stuff. And I managed to beat making my own, experience, approach the culture and everything so differently to him in a much more realistic way, I suppose, because rather than trying to learn about it through anime, I've read books, and I've got my online folklore up there. It's a 1,000 years of manga. Went to a Mr. Manga exhibition, but it also explores the actual culture of the place. I've watched documentaries and this and the other, really, and I've made some friends and actually learned about it from them, as opposed to, say, basing everything on their own anime. But I think because I was trying to claim these other ones as my own, trying to have a go at them, oh yeah, it's fine, I can do it now because I'm able to do this, and I don't regret any of it. I love the LWR has become something I'm fond of. I'm not fond of their business practices; they were absolutely shocking, but like a lot of late Victorian, Edwardian businesses. But the locomotives, or the coal tank especially, has become a real firm favourite. My Jubilee, I absolutely adore. And the great thing, before we go look at some trains, because I do appreciate it's been nearly half an hour of me just waffling at the camera, and I apologise and thank you for sticking with me if you have stuck with me so far. But I really need to say all this out loud. I need to have this documented somewhere for my own safety, just so I can look back and go, why did I do this? That's why. But the great thing about doing BR and doing something based on the old Great Central is interregional trains straight away. Jubilee coming on interregional. Falkland Islands up there, which is one of my most beautiful locos, and it's been weathered by TMC, that one, and it just looks stunning. It's definitely one of my favourites in the fleet. I need to fit its extra number plates and then see if I can get someone to try and blend the nameplates. So I'm trying to get someone to blend it in with the weathering. It's a bit weird, the nameplates were left off and it was weathered, so they're going to go on and look really shiny. So it's either someone's giving them a clean, which is not beyond the realms. I may have to see. I need to put them on anyway, so I can do it and see how it looks, see what I feel. But in a beautiful full circle thing in a way, Great Western had running rights on the Great Central because they'd helped build half of it, the Banbury area and everything. I've seen from BR era, Nottingham Victoria, Halls, Granges, Switherland sidings. I've seen Witherslack Hall at Switherland sidings back in the BR era, let alone now. I know it does it these days because it's preserved there, but but I've seen it authentically in the era there, so I can still get my little Great Western hit. And I actually think for the branch line, one of the main engines is, utilise what I've got already. I've got the 1500, I've got 1501 there, and that can come in on an interregional train, interregional goods even maybe, because we found, I was informed by Gary the other day that there were 3 bridges. They found LNWR and Great Western freights going through to the yard there, hauled by Great Western and LNWR engines into the yard. You think they'd swap over to something else. So based on that, my 1500 can pull a interregional freight and passenger for now. I mean, to be honest, my Manor there, my Kuroscow Manor is in the final form of the Great Western livery. Get it weathered a bit, because it would be good. Because Great Western engines, despite popular opinion, were not always clean. Yeah, get it weathered a bit. It's in the final form of the Great Western livery. It's just not been repainted yet. It's not been to the works yet. Because when I say I'm doing BR, I'm doing BR from the beginning to the end of Steam. Possibly dabbling with the early green diesel period, literally just after, because all I do is just run with diesels. So the things I need to change, The layout track plan's fine over there. Fiddle yard, I need a proper fiddle yard, but apparently one's being made for me. I sent a message to someone I know who's just saying you got bits of wood, I want to make something like, and he just put the message back going, send me the dimensions, I'll knock you one up. So yeah, so I've made it suitable for 2-track wide. I'm going to use that nasty point, as I call it, to actually make it a 2-road fiddle yard. And I'm thinking of this for locos that can do it, some of my 060s, even my 060 tender engines are fine on it, 460s. Basically, no 280s, no Pacifics, or 262s on it, because it is a very sharp corner. But diesels, I'm thinking, diesel rail cars, multiple units, they can be on there. And I could have another one over for freight and other traffic in front of me here. So that's the only thing we need really to change there. And just a little aside here, because I watched some reviews yesterday. I watched quite a lot of YouTube yesterday. And I see Anthony Dodge has uploaded another video today, so I need to go and check that out. I don't think it's actually while I was uploading. But I watched a lot of reviews, and one of the things that keeps getting mentioned is spring buffers. I burst inside to say it every time. I was going to say it quickly because I've got something relevant here. I'm going to see if I can do this again. But I've had to glue a wire to the back of the buffers on this because the mounting broke, and it doesn't seem to have a standard sized fishtail there. But obviously that's probably super glued the spring buffers at the back solid. I don't need them. 90% of us don't need them. They're a nicety if you really bothered, but I think if we all search inside ourselves, you know, it's got it like the 04's got it. When's the last time you actually pushed them in with your finger? And your whole collection. You know, you only need sprung buffers if you're using scale couplings. If the buffers are actually going to come into contact with each other and you're going to use them to push other stock about, then you want sprung, and you want sprung on both. For tension locks, KDs, the Hunt magnetic couplings, I believe, or any other form magnetic couplings. Basic anything where the coupling is what comes into contact with each other and the buffers stay this far apart, or, you know, if they're not touching anything, you don't need sprung buffers. It's another expense in the build of the model. That's just a little aside. I feel so much better now for letting that all out. But yeah, so they're nice, but you don't need them. They're not the big deal they get made out to be. They really aren't. But anyway, let's go and run some trains. So we've got a passenger train here with a couple of vans at the back. Needs to do a little bit of shunting. Excellent. And the 04 is waiting to depart with its brake van back for the main line. So just need to clue you in. This is where the Manor line is. So, you know, that's where the station is and everything. It's in Leicestershire. So we have to imagine our passenger trains start and terminate at Leicester Central. With some bigger working through from Rugby and obviously on the Western region stuff even further. I'm not sure. Can anyone tell me if you've made it this far and you know? I need to look it up, but unless someone tells me, put down below. Was there a connection between the LNWR line and the Great Central at Rugby? Could trains go from one to the other? Because I'm just trying to work out where my London Midland stuff's coming in, where it's coming, because I think there was a connection in Leicester, but so it could come through that way. But yeah, that's the only thing. I could come about Nottingham, I suppose. I'm sure there must be a connection somewhere along those bits for the London Midland region. But yeah, so but for the tank engine hauled, the regular passenger service, it goes from here to Leicester. So yes, right, let's run some trains. See if you get that one. If you get that, let me know. Right, so I should excuse the lack of scenery on the Warhammer figures there, but I hope you understand I had a total blockage until of what I was doing. Let's at least have the VC10 facing the right way, shall we? There we go. I had a total mental blockage until I decided what company I was doing. I'm actually really proud of myself because through the whole of that half-hour talk, including the rant at the end, I could have quite easily talked myself into doing Great Western and I didn't, so yeah. Anyway, here we go. So here comes the Great Eastern tank. Again, a good quality purchase here. Only £52 this one. Again, not that it really matters, but it's just like, yeah. So it comes in from Leicester, £2 at the end. So the Oxford Rail N7 is a little bit noisy, but it's not a bad runner. Okay, with that done, the 04 can now depart. So it says 6532 on it. Its BR number was 63862, so that's what it's going to be. And the brake van behind, it's again the other family link. That's a nice thing on the end of this, which is something else another bonus to do in BR, is the brake van on this actually was my dad's, and it used to run his layout when he was a kid as well, so I get to use that. Right. Okay, so there's the Great Eastern tank sat with its, is it L77 or something like that class? But it's sat, having just pulled in whilst the 04 was leaving. They've uncoupled, so we'll just have to enact that. A little bit tricky with this wire because it gets very close to each other. But even with that, buffers still don't come into contact. Right. Okay, so I have added some oil to this loco. It was quite dry, but from what I understand online, it's pretty normal sound levels for a Oxford Rail N7. So this one won't be repainted at all because it is it was purchased because it was in First World War era livery. No, you haven't. I haven't lost any footage. I haven't missed anything. I just thought, considering you're not going to see much moving for that bit, I would basically cut to this bit when we're propelling the wagon through. Just had a bit of an issue with it not wanting to go over the point correctly over here. A bit irritating. In the end, it didn't matter how many times I flicked the point back and forth, pushed it against the rail to make sure it could go straight ahead. It just kept trying to turn the corner. So yeah, it just kept pushing past it. A little bit strange. It's not done that before, but no doubt it's probably made the wrong decision with points and track and everything. It was surprising because this is a very respectable manufacturer's track. Okay, see what we can do this time. Ignore Siri. Who asked you? Yep, fine that time. Good. Must have been a fluke. Must have been a one-off incident. That will happen again, no doubt, at some point. But I'm not sure we actually have that or not. But right, we'll get coupled up now, and then we'll finish off with a departure here. Right. Cards bonus whistle. And let's depart. So that really is it now. And then VR Eastern region. Let's enjoy this journey together. Oh, there's two other rolls I've already got. Both those Mark 1s have actually got E prefixes on their number. But anyway, thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe and be well. And I look forward to this allowing me to be a lot more free with other things I do. So once this is obviously underway properly, I can look at the Japanese, I can look at the 009 properly, with a much clearer head, I hope. Right. Till next time. Bye.